Hey, hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here. So today we're going to talk about, are your limiting beliefs stopping you from achieving your goals? So every single one of us has conscious or subconscious ideas that can become limiting beliefs that can stop us from achieving our goals if we let them. Sometimes these beliefs are instilled in us in childhood, and sometimes we create them ourselves as we go through our lives. So one example of a limiting belief might be that can get in our way might be how we see ourselves with money, right? So if you believe that you're always going to struggle and you're always going to be poor, chances are you've set yourself up for failure. You're not going to be successful because you have that belief in the back of your mind that's telling you that you will always struggle and you'll always be poor. Your limiting belief that you're poor and that you always will be poor then becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy. Sorry. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the same can be said about anything negative in your life that's limiting you, whether it's your career or your education or your anything personal, such as being healthy or being your normal weight or anything like that. If you're being held back in any area, it's quite possible that you have a limiting belief that might be holding you back. And if you see yourself in a certain way, it can be hard to change that view and let go of that limiting belief. So I've got 8 telling phrases that point to a limiting belief. If you find yourself telling yourself these things or thinking these things, then chances are you have a limiting belief that might be holding you back. So number 1, it's hopeless. Anytime you use the word never is a clue that you're focusing on a limiting belief. For example, I'll never have any money because you need money to make money, or I'll never, whatever, anytime you're like, I'm never, or it's hopeless, you think that it's just not possible. That's a clue. I mean, nothing is hopeless, right? So that's a clue that maybe you're focusing on a limiting belief. Or number 2, I'm helpless. When most people feel like they're helpless, or they feel like they're uneducated or whatever, they blame their circumstances instead of working to change them. And so I can't manage my money because I don't know how. Sounds insightful, but the part that's missing is the feeling of helplessness when all you need to do is take a class to learn how to manage your money, or buy and read and practice the lessons in Personal Finances for Dummies. I mean, that's a book. I use a lot of the Dummies books, believe it or not. I love the Dummies books because they make it really easy to understand. And there is one, Personal Finances for Dummies. So if you think you can't manage your money because you don't know how, well, it's more than likely because you didn't make the effort to learn how, right? And so that's a limiting belief because you're telling yourself, in a way, you're kind of telling yourself it's okay if you can't manage your money because you don't know any better, right? So number 3, it's useless. So the idea that nothing you do will make a difference is that you believe that any action you take won't make any difference. It doesn't matter if I work out an hour every day, I won't lose weight anyway. Well, how do you know? I mean, have you tried to do anything for longer than a couple of weeks? Guilty. I'm guilty of the weight thing and the working out thing, right? But it's true. I mean, it's another way of saying, hey, there's a problem here, right? Number 4, it's the universe. So sometimes a limiting belief has to do with the idea that maybe it's an outside force that you can't control and it's keeping you down. So you can't find a job, or you can't get clients because the economy sucks, or because you think the products you're selling, the prices are too high, or where you live is depressed, or you don't have the right clothing, or whatever. I mean, but you do nothing in your power to change it because you think it's your destiny, right? Everything happens for a reason type thinking can be very limiting, and it can make you feel powerless. Everything does happen for a reason, but you have a lot more control over that than you think. I mean, everything that happens for a reason. That doesn't mean that how you respond to it, right? How you respond to it is your reason. You have control of that. Number 5, I'm worthless. So the idea that you're not smart enough or good enough to do what you really want to do, it can be a strong limiting belief system. And you know what? It seems to affect women more than men. You might feel that you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough to have something. And so then you don't take the steps to achieve it because you don't feel like you deserve it. Number 6, it's genetic. So while there might be some instances where genetics plays a role in a person's life, I mean, this isn't really genetics, but you could be born in the slums of India, or you could be born in New York City, or you could be born in a jungle. I mean, obviously, the options that are available to you are very different depending on where you're born. But the truth is, almost everything that is genetic can be fixed with the right mindset, training, exercise, and outlook. And it's all about, you're not stuck with what you're born with, but if you think you are, you might not try any of the things to pull yourself out of the rut that you're stuck in. Number 7, I'll fail. Well, the truth is the fear of failure is something that most people have as a limiting belief. I think I'm a bad public speaker, so if I do it, I'll be judged, and I'll fail anyway, so why try? I mean, we hear that all the time, right? But how can you set that belief in stone if you haven't tried? I mean, if it is public speaking, if you're saying, I'm a bad public speaker, and I'll be judged and I'm going to fail, have you tried it? I mean, and that's just one thing. I mean, there's lots of different things, that you might want to do that you're afraid you're going to fail at. And you know what? You will fail. We talk about that all the time. We feel failure is part of the process of success. But that's if you won't try something because you think you're going to fail, that probably is a limiting belief, right? Number 8, I'm different. The limiting belief about being different is that different is necessarily bad. You don't want to be who you are because you're different and you'd be looked at as different by other people. You're afraid to be who you are because you don't even know who you are, and you're scared to find out because you're afraid of the rejection and ending up alone. And here's the thing, we're all different. That's the point, right? I mean, we should celebrate our differences. We really don't want to be exactly like everybody else, right? So anyway, listen for these 8 key phrases. If you're hearing them or if you're thinking them, pay attention, because if they're coming up in your life or they're coming up in your mind, then that's a pretty good indication that you probably have a limiting belief that's holding you back. And so if you hear any of these phrases going through your head, try to disconnect from them and turn them around to, instead of why me, to why not me. Always ask, why not me? Because the truth is, you're not feeling anything different than anybody else who has made goals and achieved them. We all, hi, Caroline. Yes, try and try again. We all figure it out. We all do it. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have things that hold us back. You're not any different than anybody else. And so the key is to figure out what it is that's really holding you back and then make sense of that fear that most likely isn't true anyway. And it's funny, when you start to examine it, you start to realize that it is kind of silly and that we shouldn't let that hold us back, and then doing it anyway. So the difference is in the doing, not in the intelligence or the talent or what you were given or not given. It's in the doing. So celebrate difference. Yes. So anyway, what about you? What kinds of things do you find holding you back? What helps you figure out what's holding you back? I would love to hear. So please share below. And that's what I have for you today. So I will be back tomorrow, and any comments you put, I'll be sure to check them. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.